Hello, Star Lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about here are the best ways you can protect your energy for the holidays. We've got another 6 months to go where it's going to be confusing about relationships. We're going to feel like if we're having communication issues or we're not being able to move forward with things. And this is both on the personal side and the business side. So it's going to be a little bit more frustrating on the business side because it's going to feel like fits and starts. However, for this episode, we're going to be focusing on the personal side, specifically for the holidays. And in our minds, we think, oh, that's great. We're going to get together. We haven't seen these people maybe for some time. We get some time off. It's a different rhythm, a different schedule. And yet, for a lot of people, it is a significant time of stress. As we're leading up to it, you may feel getting those triggers, right? Like, oh, my brother-in-law is such a pain in the butt. Or, gee, that mother, she just has the most biting tongue. Or that father-in-law just doesn't, he's just not quiet. So we each have triggers. And it makes that idyllic, that Norman Rockwell painting of, oh, we're all gathered around and we're giving gifts or we're having a shared meal and it's just so wonderful. But yet there can be this undercurrent. And the undercurrent is energy. And we all feel energy, whether we're aware of it or not. And so let's go into the energies that could be bubbling up. And I am going to use some examples that could be a character, an avatar for you that you can think like, oh, yes, this happens to be where I'm really, really strong, don't have an issue, doesn't bother me at all. And this is where I'm like, oh, crap. If that person corners me, what am I going to do? So we are going to be going through your intuitive success types, and we're going to be looking through the lens of a holiday gathering. I did this on TV, and I got tons of feedback from people from a loving alchemist that in the last 35 years, my husband and I haven't enjoyed the holidays, but with these tips, I was able to enjoy it. So super, super helpful. So we're going to go through these, have your ear out for not only your signature, but if you have your spouses or your children's, you can all be in that space of recognizing, again, where you're really strong with energetic interactions and where, this is going to be a trigger for you. So if you haven't taken that quiz yet, it's a 12-question quiz. It's at your starmaptosuccess.com. So for the wise strategist, here's the deal with the wise strategist. Wise strategist is really strong. They're super calm, but it's outward because inside there can be this little bit of this rumbling of disquiet or non-contentedness. So wise strategists are typically fairly in rhythm with their own energy, but they don't adore big crowds. So for a wise strategist, I would say that your best bet is to host yourself. However, that's not always available to you, right? And if you do, you typically don't ask for a lot of support. So that would be something that you want to do because you are very much susceptible to those people who like to get attention. And so why is that? So I'm deeming that the boastful brother-in-law, like that person who just look at me. The reality is that person's insecure and the person needs to be, they're uncomfortable being in the group too. And they need to be seen and heard and known, but they're not satisfied with that. So they're probably unknowingly doing comparison with other people. And then all of a sudden they come out and they're being overly boastful. The wise strategist, this is terrible for you. You're feeling as if your energy is getting sucked out in some way. And it just is like this, it's like this gnat flying around, like if there's a fly that's in your space and you're like, there's just one damn fly, right? This is that. And so, of course, I can say to you, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just walk away. Well, two things. One is it might be a really small group. It might be a really small gathering, or you might be the host and walking away is not that easy. So what we want to do is, yes, you are super strong. Yes, you are really calm, typically, or at least outwardly. So you do want to guard your energy against this onslaught. And so I'm going to go through a few, energetic things, and I'm going to go through a few practical things. So you might want to, even before you go, if you're driving somewhere and you're going in the car, I am strong, I am wise, I am secure, just really have that mantra, take a big few deep breaths, kind of shake the negative energy off. Practically, say what's on your mind. literally the person's being an ass. You have a beautiful, gracious way. Sometimes you can be too direct, but in this way, take a deep breath and be deliberate, be compassionate, be wise, be direct, but kind. That would be really super helpful. And it could be something like a deflection. Hey, you know what, Jerry? You haven't given anybody a moment, to talk. Let's go around the table. It's like a relief valve that you get to hit. Take a break, go outside, get a breath of fresh air, plan a walk during the day. That would be perfect for you. And if you have hosted, what you want to do is you want to do kind of that energetic fortification before people get there for you. But then after everybody leaves, you do want to sage your space or clean up your space. You can do clapping. Sound always alters the energy, or listening to music. You can use the doorbell or chimes, like literally sound will help you just shift that, because you don't want that energy to be lurking around either you or your space. What about an intuitive visionary? So an intuitive visionary has much different energy than the wise strategist. The wise strategist is really firm and strong and contained. The intuitive visionary fills in the energetic gaps. So the minute you walk into a room intuitive energy, all of a sudden your energy is massively dispersed. Not so helpful for you because you're going to fill in vacuums. So those people that are cold and biting, and no one really understands or appreciates the difference in the energy tone, but you do, and all your energy gets sucked into that corner. And so what ends up happening to you is you will become ungrounded, you'll become not centered, and you'll be distracted. So you might start talking to fill in the gaps. You start placating people. And not in a, I want everybody to get along, but just in the, I don't feel my energy. You get so distracted that you are bouncing off the walls. So sometimes you'll get almost hyper. So if you feel things if you watch yourself and feel things coming out of your mouth, you're like, what is happening right now? This is exactly it. So you absolutely want to stay grounded. So even before you get there or in the moment, picture your feet on the floor. Literally picture your feet on the floor and pretend you're a tree. I mean, honestly, that's the best thing you can do. And understand that your energy is your own. You have the right to have your own energy. Drinking plenty of water, organic decaf coffee, eating a piece of dark chocolate, blueberries. These are all grounding foods for you. The other thing you can do is a quick energy wash. Take a moment and just literally picture white energy, like a scrub all over you, and just be like, oh, this is not my energy. And then gather yourself, literally gather your energy around you. Pretend you have a wall completely around you. The other thing you could do, it's also energetic, is say, this isn't mine, because there's spiky energy that happens. Someone's mad at someone else, whatever. Just be like, this isn't mine. Just, nope, not my energy. Just return it. Not a big deal. The other thing to do is choose to have a few topics that you're willing to get into during this time. And there's some subjects that you're not going to get into, and that's okay. Okay. What about a collaborative explorer? So the collaborative explorer, you're a peacemaker at the holiday times. And so you're the one that's looking for all those interactions that's happening around you. So if you've got, people that are fighting, that feuding family, and it doesn't have to be overt, it can be subversive, because this is your kryptonite. You can walk into a room and you know exactly what the vibe is between the people. Different than other signatures. You've got a cousin over there that doesn't get along with the aunt, and you've got an uncle over there that's kind of almost kind of getting along with his brother, but doesn't really. And so everybody's acting nice, no problem on the surface. Everything looks fine, but you can feel those undercurrents, and those undercurrents literally sweep you away. So you're taking your time, making sure everybody's engaged and happy. Guess what? Not your job. It is not your job. So reminding yourself of that, right? Before you walk into any of these types of situations, taking 3 deep breaths, holding your hands to your heart, and saying, I matter. I take up space. I am the center of my life. Just take a breath. The other thing you could do is picture yourself as the most important in the room. Seriously, imagine yourself as the queen of the room, and you're sitting on a throne and people have to come to you. Now, it probably won't be enough that people actually gravitate to you, but you actually don't want that anyway. You just don't want to succumb to other people's infighting. The other thing is you can literally picture balance and just, like, okay, everything's in balance, everything in tune. Oh, wait, I'm in balance, I'm in tune, I'm totally fine. Two practical things. You can speak up for yourself. You can go to a person who has your back, right? Like it could be your spouse, it could be an adult child, it could be a friend, a close family friend, and you can tell them what you're going to do. You can even hold their hands and you can say what is on your mind. Different than the wise strategist. The wise strategist is going to go in a corner and just tell that one person, like, hey guys, you know what? Just chill. Whereas you're going to be like, you know what? This is a happy time. This is a happy moment. What are we all thankful for? Or, if it's a different holiday, what have we been doing for the last year? What is our goal? It's like literally you're distracting. There's a distractibility here. Or if you're feeling emboldened, you can say what's on your mind. It would be most helpful for you to do it. You will be overly kind, but yet it might land. It's not important for how people respond to you. It's important that you said it. Or you can think of a game. Bring a game. Literally think of something fun because that would be super, super helpful. The other thing you can do is you can literally, and I'm going to say this for the creative superstar too, you can literally say to somebody before you walk in the room, hey, have my back. You know what? Don't go beyond. I'm going to have a signal and you're going to come over and we're going to just recalibrate and then we're going to come back in. Take breaks. Okay, for you, ruling warrior, you bring out people who want to compete. So there's a competitive nature. And meanwhile, you're just kind of hanging out doing your own thing, right? Like you're like, hey, here I am. However, you typically breed success. And so when you're in that really comfortable zone and you just go in and you're like, okay, hey, you tend to say things like, I just went to, Chechnya. We had a great time. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I wasn't able to go to that because I was in California at a speaking engagement or I was on a TV show. Like literally the stuff happens with you. So that's great. But you do realize you trigger a lot of people without even meaning to because you're just striving. And so as you're striving, people tend to level set themselves against you. And if they're striving, great. You have no problem. You guys have fun and it's perfect. If they're not striving or if they're in a different phase of their life, then you may trigger them. And so this is what you want to do. Sometimes you will then shrink yourself or other times you'll like match the boastfulness, right? You don't like to do that. That's not really your either one of those things aren't really your jam. So if that cocky cousin, comes up and just starts like trying to one up you and trying to do like all these crazy things and you just like, and you do with a mental eye roll because it doesn't really matter. And you're probably thinking, well, gee, that's really kind of pathetic, but I don't want to feel badly for you. However, you're either going to make yourself small or you're going to like, then just going to like, you're going to be like that peacock throwing out all your feathers. Think of like one thing you're super grateful of in that moment. Because it's gratitude that's going to really happen for you. It's like an open heart, believe it or not, that's going to really galvanize your energy in a way that's going to be less triggering to others. So now this isn't about others. This is about you, but it's also about you not having a terrible time, right? Or you not then being like, quote unquote, attacked by other people, just like, trying to puff themselves up because that's annoying. So obviously you can breathe in patience, right? Like just breathe in patience, just soften your energy. You can literally walk around the room and be like that really super quiet person in the corner and they're quiet. They're not the ones sucking the energy from the room. They're quiet. You can just go and just have a nice, lovely conversation with them. Just catch up. You can get out a family photo album and start just reminiscing. Anything. Again, think about this. This is like heart-opening things that are really beautiful. Memories are the best thing for you. So remember when, just think of that, remember when. And so that's going to just bring the energy down. You'll have more space. You'll have more enjoyment. And you know what? You deserve some time off. And that's what we're trying to give you. We're just trying to give you some space. And that would be the best thing for you. Okay. So for you, creative superstar, you literally are the person that everybody gravitates to you, right? So there could be, 10 or 12 people around a table and you walk in and everybody's like, hey, and the difference is with you, they then walk over to you. Whereas other people are like, hey, come on in, welcome to the party, right? They're like, ooh, she's here, he's here. And they go, whoop, because you have a vibrancy, a kind of like welcoming energy that you're not even aware of. People feel good when they're in your space. So, other times you'd be the one that like people come up to you and they're talking to you and they know things about you and your life. And you're like, who are you right now? I don't even know who you are. This is you. And obviously you're with family. And so that's not the case in this circumstance, but it's the same vibe. It's like, oh my goodness, we haven't seen Charlotte in so long. Here she is. Everybody feels good when they're with you. And who knows what's happening in that room before you get there. So all of a sudden, whoop, you're like the magnet. You can't even take your coat off before everybody like is on top of you. You absolutely want to do things before you get there. So you especially want to do two things. One is you want to fortify your own energy. So you want to, fill your energy with your favorite color, fill your energy with your favorite spirit animal, fill your energy with, you could do that tree, you don't really like it, it's too staid, it doesn't move around enough. Bring your favorite crystal, like something that really feels good, right? You can wrap yourself in like a gossamer veil or like, those butterfly wings or something, because you definitely don't want people siphoning off your energy. If you're advanced in energy, then you want to bring up the earthly energy through your feet. You want to bring it down from, the universe, and you really want to be having that beautiful restorative energy field going on. Because if you aren't really attuned to energy and don't really know how to do this, you want to make sure that you take some breaks, like literally go to the bathroom a few times, do it again. Like you're going to have to do it 2 or 3 times in like a 4 to 6 hour holiday time period. The other thing you can do is you can schedule it where you're only there for dessert or you're only there for appetizers. Like, honestly, for you to have this like never ending day of energy, it's just too much, because people are going to act like they're self-absorbed around you. Why is that? It's a different energy, right? It's like, I want to impress you, but I don't give you any space. It's different than with a ruling warrior. The ruling warrior it's more cocky. It's like, I need to be super, super confident and I'm just going to one-up you. This isn't that. This is somebody is feeling that you're happy and you're satisfied and you're living the life in that cycle that really feels good to you, and they want it too. So they want to bring the attention back to them, but it's more subversive. And so it feels a little bit like they're siphoning. And that's exactly what's happening to you. So there's just this energy siphoning, and it's slow and it's constant and it's from multiple people. So you feel exhausted at the end of the day. And your mind rationally says, well, why would I? I went and I shared a meal, I mean, we weren't even there that long. And you're just like literally like you're fatigued. You could either be fatigued before as the lead up, that feels more like dread, or it could be fatigued afterwards where you're like, I just feel like I got like unplugged. Well, you did. You came in with some energy and you left with none. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. And that's why this energy gathering is really, really good for you to do before, during, and after. The other thing is for you to be able to have a pre-described person or set of people that you are absolutely going to have as your sentries. Like literally think of it as your sentries. So you're going to have a signal for them to come to your aid. You toss a conversation to somebody else. So somebody comes up to you and that person is going to be like, oh, great. This is, Martha. She's just going to siphon my energy for a while. That's probably not what you thought before, but that's exactly what's happening. So literally you got to be, oh, great. You're perfect for this. Super, super graceful. Like, hey, Henry, did you want to come over and join the conversation? Hey, you did that too. You're great about tossing a question out like, well, what did you guys just do for the vacation? Do you have any other holiday plans coming up? What are you doing at the top of the year? Like, what are you doing next year? Like literally that deflection is perfect for you. So act like a facilitator or a gracious host, and that will be perfect. The other thing is, you know what? You too should take breaks, and you should take them alone. because you want to gather your energy again. So that's what you absolutely want to do. So we have one more. We have that loving alchemist. And so the loving alchemist for you, you really like deep conversation. Quote unquote cocktail conversation isn't your vibe. You know you need to do it if you're in business, but you don't want to do this with family. So just like the wise strategist, it would be better for you to host than not host, because then that gives you, for different reasons, gives you a degree of separation, like a degree of like just having conversation with those people that you want to or not, right? But that doesn't always materialize. So for you, you want to have deep, deep conversations. First of all, recognize that you're not going to. This is not the time for that. Give yourself some space to have a solitude, some have some alone time, but also some space that you, oh my God, this person's so yummy. I love getting together with this person. So, for example, if you do celebrate Thanksgiving and you happen to celebrate it with family on that Thursday, that Saturday, have a definite plan to be spending time with that person that you're just like, and get into really deep conversation. So that way, when you're sitting there on that Thursday and you're like, oh, great, we're not having any sort of depth here, you don't care. You recognize it's not even a thing. So the first thing is that literally level setting your expectations. The other thing is, what you're most susceptible to is when people are letting go through the day or the evening, and then they become filterless. They just don't have a filter. And you're like, and you can just see the minefields, right? Like, the three topics of conversation you should never get into. Nope, great, here we go. There's the first minefield. And the second one's going to come in. Or a disagreement that's been going on for years or months, and then someone just like takes a pin out of the grenade and throws it in the middle of the room, and you're like, and you have such an energetic ability to know what's coming that you're just like, here we go. Oh, here we go again. Few things that would be really helpful for you is that if you are hosting, do an energy clearing before, do an energy clearing of you, and do an energy clearing after. Definitely. But even before helps, because people are walking into deep energy and they don't know what to do with it. It's very powerful. It's almost too powerful for them. So that's when everybody kind of goes berserk. In the larger gathering, here's the thing. Give yourself permission to take someone aside and really have a good conversation in the middle of that, right? Like in the middle of the whole thing, say, yeah, my expectations are to have really deep conversation, but you know what? I know I can with this person, and so I'm going ahead. Even if it's the person you came with, that's okay too. Just have those moments where you're like, I just need to talk about something that I care about. The other thing is, let go of control, like literally just let go of it. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. If somebody is going to be raucous, let it be raucous. Just be like, it's not my thing. This is not my drama. I'm not going to get sucked into the drama, because for you to be able to feel safe and feel secure and feel connected is really important to you. You like that sense of belonging. And a lot of times you'll feel like, I don't even belong here. Recognize that you may not actually belong there. Just because you're in your maybe biological family doesn't mean that it's your soul family. And so that's where I was saying at the beginning of part of this conversation is that have the expectations of, yeah, but I'm going to be spending time with my soul family either tomorrow, or I just did 3 days ago, or next week. And I recognize now that I need to put some beautiful spaces around so that I can kind of leapfrog. So that would be really helpful for you. And recognizing that you are super powerful and you're super loving, but a lot of people can't meet you there. That's okay, because you are having those people in your life. It just may not be in this room. So the holidays can be filled with contention, and they can be filled with strife. And it could be from the past. It could be what's happening right now, or it could be, somebody like, wanting to step and do something that feels like a change. And so then everybody's off in the room. And these times right now are fraught with relationship issues. That's the energy. And so for us to be able to sail through the holidays, to not be dreading them, to not be wanting to avoid them, but to be able to participate in a way that will save our energy and doesn't have to leave us with that quote unquote energy hangover is the most precious gift you can give yourself this holiday season. So absolutely take the quiz, get your signature, understand how your energy works, have a plan, and you will be able to enjoy this holiday season. If you're looking for more information about this type of activity, you can subscribe right here for the podcast. We do some monthly energies. I do some strategy. Or if you want to get deeper and you want to know like how to use energy a little bit further, I've got multiple ways to do that. Or we're coming into that top of the year to plan for the next year. And 2025 is going to be a lot. The next few years are going to be a lot. So knowing that you have the support that you need and you have a plan and you understand and appreciate how these energies work, it's going to be so super helpful for you. So as always, thank you so much for listening and sharing with friends, and happy soul tidings. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes. And remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together, as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.